much. So I want you to go ahead and lead us off here with your power rankings, even though I think I know number one.
All right. Yeah, they got no hit, but the next day they walk it off and win 6-3. The New York Yankees are the best team in baseball, hands down. It's not even close anymore.
It's not.
53-20 at the time that we're talking right now. 144 plus run differential.
Yep.
Which is
Unreal.
14 more than the Dodgers.
Yep.
And when you think about that though, the NL West is tough. The AL East is the toughest. And plus 144.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is, and they're 31-9 at home. And
that's really good.
And going to be the, if this holds up, they're going to be the best team in the American League. They'll be the number one seed in playoffs. So, they're going to have to run through New York in the playoffs. And if you're 31-9 through your first 40, good luck playing them in the playoffs.
Yep.
So a lot to happen there, but either way, 6-4 in their last 10, 367 runs scored, 223 against, and just playing phenomenal baseball. But the most impressive thing, obviously, the home record, but 24-11 against teams over 500, and their schedule coming up. The next series they have starting, midweek of, the last week of June is going to be versus Oakland, which is a very favorable matchup with those guys. With Oakland, being 25-49 and the worst team in a really rough AL West. But so we do agree on that, and I have a feeling we'll agree on number two. But who do you have at number two? Does it stay in New York?
It stays in New York.
Okay,
got the Mets.
Yep. Which it continues, in my opinion, to impress us because the Mets 47-27, but they have, in my opinion, one of, if not the best pitching staffs in baseball when healthy. And they got three of their best pitchers and some of the best pitchers in baseball still out, and they're still able to do this.
Yep. They're coming up against Houston.
Yes.
And it'll be interesting to see that series.
It will be. Yep. And I mean, the Mets are 6-4 in their last 10, but I would be very excited as a Mets fan because the Braves have cooled off a little bit. But they were at 9 games ahead, I think like a week or two ago. Now they're only 4.5. So they had to get through June. We continue to tell everybody that June is the toughest month on the schedule for the Mets. And it's scary to think about what they could do. 47-27 with a full rotation, with DeGrom, with Scherzer in the rotation. It's wild, but it kind of, you want to almost think like, hey, all right, Miguel and the rotation, do they potentially go out and get another starter? Could they take somebody off, maybe the A's or the Royals or the Tigers?
I think the Mets go out and get like a number 3 or 4 starter.
Yep.
Just for innings.
Why not?
Praying that the other guys come back.
Because in my opinion, what might be you got your traditional 5 person rotation. You get a really good 3 or 4, and then you have a really good 6-man rotation, and then that allows DeGrom, Scherzer, and those guys to have another start off.
Yeah,
it kind of take
either skip a start or back it up an extra day.
Exactly. Less innings, less wear and tear on it, and kind of take an approach that the Padres do. Padres have a ton of great starters. They have a bunch of guys that are throwing not only in the bullpen, middle relief, but they're starters, and they're in rumors of potentially going out and getting another starter, which could put them at 6 or maybe even 7 starters in a rotation. But if you got the pitching, why not do it? Everybody's, less innings. Everybody has less that, and if everybody's performing well, why not? But there's a couple of guys in the Mets that they brought up that are pitching well. Maybe they stay up. Who knows? But either way, that's our top 2. Who you have at 3?
Man, I have the Dodgers.
Ooh.
And then Houston, but Houston just no hit the Yankees.
It's true.
I'll stick with the Dodgers for now.
I was gonna say you can't let the Dodgers go past 3. I don't know what you have going on, but it's okay. There's no judgment over here.
I love Vin Scully, I think.
Oh well, that's logical, I guess. But so you have the Dodgers.
I'm going with the Dodgers.
I went with the Astros.
Okay.
So we did. I mean, it was there, but I mean, why I went with the Astros over the Dodgers is they're 45-27, so they have one more win, but also one more loss than the Dodgers. The differential is obviously lower, but that, in my opinion, hasn't always kind of amounted to who's playing the better baseball because the Dodgers played the Pirates a bunch, and we all know how that goes. But but Houston 7-3 in their last 10, where the Dodgers were also 7-3, which prior weeks they were a little bit worse. But again, they hit the Yankees. They had an opportunity, did blow a game, obviously today against it, but they're 12-9 against teams over 500, where the Dodgers are 15-14. So that was a little bit of one more win. And they're playing tougher opponents, and so in my opinion, Houston deserved 3, which jumped up a couple for me.
All right,
so stick up for your Dodgers.
15-14 against teams over 500. That's basically one game over 500 against teams over 500.
Yep.
But that's a lot of games against teams over 500.
True.
12-9 with Houston, and it's the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers. Their run differential plus 130.
And they got some pitchers. I'll help you out here. Pitchers, you got, obviously Kershaw's not back yet. Bueller's not quite back yet. I mean,
I think it's kind of like with the Mets, like the Mets and the Dodgers. If you get those full rotations, they're pretty darn close to where the Yankees are right now.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you.
Get those pitchers, and I think if we're doing rankings where they stand, it's kind of where they stand now, and also where we think they would be.
Yeah.
When the rotations come back. So I'm going Dodgers.
Okay. Not a smart move. I mean, anybody that is truly going to not consider the Dodgers as the NL champs or potential World Series champs, then maybe you don't really overly know baseball. But great team. Right. Can't count them out. So our 3, our 4. So who do you have at 5?
I have San Diego.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you.
They have 1 more win than the Dodgers, but 3 more losses. Their run differential at plus 67 is the same as the Mets.
Yep.
They've allowed less runs and, obviously scored less, but San Diego's, they're keeping right up with the Dodgers. And if they're right with them by the All-Star break, then you got to believe San Diego's legit.
Yeah. And they're pitching wise healthier.
Yeah. Pitching's healthier. And I only say you got to believe they're legit because San Diego has to prove that they're really good.
Yep.
Because for years we've been waiting for San Diego to be really, really good. And they haven't done it. Who knows? Maybe this year with the mix of people they have, maybe this is the year that all of a sudden they're really, really good come September and they can push into the playoffs.
Yeah. And if I had the Padres, it would be cool to see. I love seeing a different kind of team, you know what I mean, in the mix. But they dropped a couple for me. They didn't have the best, week since we talked last week. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Wasn't the best week that they've ever had, but they played some good people, and it's top 5. But as you can see here, still pretty much the top same 5 teams, between the Yankees, Mets, Astros, Dodgers, Padres. We've pretty much had them in their different spots, but they're kind of running away from some of the other competition. Even in that division, the Giants have kind of been up and down. You know what I mean? They're 39 and 32, but then you kind of honorable mention the Red Sox. They're out of nowhere, 42 and 31, the second best record in the AL East, behind Tampa and Toronto, still quite there, but surprisingly Baltimore, 7-3 in their last 10, but Boston, they've won 7 straight, 8-2 in their last 10. They are playing phenomenal baseball.
I heard the stat today. There's something like 26 out of their last 36 or 27 out of their last 36. I mean, they're playing right up there with the best. They're scoring. They're finally scoring.
Yeah.
Boston didn't hit the first half of this first half.
No, the run differential was pretty much almost even. Now they're up to plus 65.
Hitting the crap out of the baseball.
Yep. Big series coming up with Toronto to start the the last week of June as well before we get into July 4th baseball. But this is a lot of divisional ball is going to be starting to come up for the rest of the season. Approaching All-Star break, stuff like that. So exciting times. And like I said, to look at the AL East when you have the Yankees who are just having a season that is a season. 53 and 20. You got other teams 42 wins, 40 wins, 40 wins, and 34 wins. You put these teams in any of the other divisions, they're either the division leader or potentially right there. I mean, it is crazy. It is, and then, so those are the honorable mentions, and never count out Tampa Bay, a team that won 100 games last year. I mean, they're on 3-game winning streak. Granted, they did just sweep the Pirates, but they're going through, the NL Central right now. They're going to take on the NL Central division leaders currently, the Brewers next week. So I'm a Tampa fan this week.